Look at that. Look at that, right? Like, that's how you thrive. Like, that's you. And let's try to see how this play develops. Thinking about everything we've talked about. Let's see how this play develops. Because that play was you. That's your highlight, right? So we extend for boost. We're far away from the play. Okay, remember, your play style needs boost. It needs speed. It needs spacing. We're approaching a play. We're far away. We're not tight in the midfield. We're not tracking small pads. I showed those previous examples. We approach a play. We have speed. We have boost. We get our touch. We're creative. We go for pre-flip. We get little cute ballerina touches and you score. But all of it was rooted in that mid-boost extension, speed of approach, and the space to actually be mechanical. Whereas in some of these previous plays, I talked about like your positioning is not linking up with your play style. Like you position aggressively to pick up 50s and follow up shots, but your play style is control. So this is Sith. Sith is Grand Champ 3 SSL. Very good player. I'll probably keep it original with individual. Better way to say it. I'll probably keep it individual. Like if this is a tryout with new people, like I don't know if this is now your new team. I don't know if you have multiple tryouts. Like I don't know if this is the best replay to go. This is how you fit the best role on the team. So I'll probably keep it individual. I think we'll just call this SSL 3s. All right. Opportunity right there. We'll see if that happens. It's a good challenge. I like our midfield positioning. As in, like, we'll just take a look at Skycam. Look at how we're, I would say, monopolizing the midfield. We're very, very, very midfield focused. Like, we take our play, get our demo, track our pads. We don't go here. There is no boost there. We don't go here. There is no boost there. But you're tracking pads, staying central. Still, you know, moving, right? That's probably the best thing about it. We're moving. We're not just positioning. We are moving. Have a little cut. Really good challenge. Play the ball. Still central. Still tracking our pads. This is probably like my favorite part of it. Just a comment. We did throw away that first kickoff touch, which I wish we did something. Again, good midfield. Solid, dude. Unfortunate right there, but solid. Clean. Nice try. We just kind of rushed that rotation back. That's the only breakdown with this play. But it was like literally the first time we rushed a play. Got our touch right here, which was good, but so far pretty clean. No major breakdowns. I'm thinking more like what's missing since it is clean. Second time our ball, third time our ball control got away. First one was kickoff. Second one was this, but this was like, I didn't really care about this. I liked what we were going for. It just didn't work out. And now we have free flip air dribble control. We get our open space. We're just in front of the ball, like very similar to that previous kind of pre-flip reset play. So in terms of what's missing, it's like ball control. But that's like not advice. That's just an observation. That touch kind of gets away. We do a good job adjusting though. Good mechanics right there. I almost feel like our ball control is going nowhere, meaning it's not on net and it's not like fully transitioning. I could argue that this was a full transition, but it just wasn't super. It wasn't all the way down the field. We needed a teammate to pick up this touch, and the first touch was a little bit, it wasn't what we wanted, right? You did a good job of adapting. Now, this is not mechanics, meaning I don't think our mechanics are breaking down. I think it's more in the game sensey. I don't know if it's the type of mechanics we're choosing to do. But when I say ball control is like breaking down or not as effective, it's like, okay, it's not on net to create offense. It's not always about scoring. And then when we transition, it's not fully transitioning. It's either becoming a throwaway or we need a teammate to pick it up. So that's what I'm thinking about. everything else is pretty clean. Like, are we too clean? Is that the problem? Are we too controlled? Are we too in the midfield? You know what I'm saying? Like, nice try. That was very, very difficult. I can't believe you actually adjusted for that. That's pretty... there's no way you read that bounce. That's crazy, though. I almost get a... Like, we're too much in the midfield. Not that it's leaving us boost starved, but... You know, like... This is fine. Don't want to really change midfield, but thinking broadly, like, we're in the midfield. Because we're in the midfield, now we have to aerial up, turn it into, like, recover on the backboard into something cheeky, right? Like, versus... I'm not saying you should be here, but, like, maybe you're on backboard or you're right here and it's air dribble all the way down the field. Like, maybe we're too midfield focused, too pad focused, and it's not that mechanics are breaking down, but it's giving us harder opportunities to be mechanical. I don't know. Brainstorming. You know, if you were on the goal line, you might have been demoed. So I'm brainstorming. It's not, I'm almost getting we're only playing a certain way type of vibe where we're only in the midfield. We're only looking for these, like, kind of really creative control-based mechanics. Like, we're not doing, like, boom and chase. We're not, like, pushing out the corners, and that's not your play style. You are a control player. That was good. Like, we don't have a lot of plays that look like this, though, right? Like, where you're kind of, like, diving, attacking, bam, and it's just a touch, right? Like, very, like, let's just call that the opposite of ball control. Let's think of ball control as, like, picture perfect freestyle mechanics, which this is not picture perfect, but our ball control looks like this, like, very methodical, slow, cheeky, right? We don't have a ton of this where you're just, like, challenging to challenging, send it, getting a touch, recovering out. Like, I almost think we're too midfield focused and we're too control focused. I almost want more of this, though. I feel like, you know, past 20, 30 seconds, we're starting to get it. But it's just kind of like a challenge, a throwaway, a clear, a follow-up, and a boost steal and a dive challenge. And you could say that wasn't clean, right? Like, you missed the ball, you threw it away. But I'm almost looking for more of that where I don't know if it's, like, in the pacing category. But again, like, think, like, you're in the midfield. If this ball pops out, bounces, comes right to you, you're probably going to try to turn this into air dribble control, but we're so close that you can't really do anything with it. Or maybe you turn it into double touch, but they're going to play backboard versus maybe, like, being a little bit farther back and then you have more space to control. I think, right, see how that play kind of turns into nothing? I think you're choking up. Like, think about, like, a baseball bat. Like, you're choking up on your positioning. Happening all over the place. Defense, which is preventing us from moving the ball up the field effectively. Offense. Okay, so let me kind of consolidate a little bit. Problems. Major problem that I saw was that our ball control was not effectively creating offense, as in taking a player out of the game, scoring, setting up a teammate. Not a lot of threat, and it was not effectively transitioning the ball. Our teammate had to pick it up, or it was a throwaway. Whether that was sidewall, back wall, ground to air, ground play. Because you could even say, like, okay, we're doing a ground play right now, but okay, we flick. It still forces our teammate to go, right? You need a teammate, and then this dude kind of throws it away as well. So it's like we're not full field transitioning. And I'm putting you through a higher level lens because I think you're playing very good. Our positioning is clean. Our positioning looks good. And then I started thinking about that. Maybe our positioning is too good. As in, we're tracking too many small pad rotations. And we're playing too close as a second man. We're cutting too much in the midfield. And we're getting too close to the play. And that's what's causing, like, the ball control not to be effective, which is, like, the main thing I'm thinking about, because everything else looks clean. You are looking for demos. I've seen a couple demo attempts. And what I would work on, man, keeping this like very broad. It's kind of like a round out play style type of review slash fixing the problem. Continue to play midfield, continue to track your pads, but don't be afraid to extend for a boost or push out to a mid boost or push out to a corner. Like finding ways to extend out of rotation and not be so tight in the midfield. It'll help with speed. It'll help with positioning and that you have more space to be controlled. And then the other way I would go about this, I showed a couple of those examples, is I don't want this to be about boom and chase. I'm a big fan of boom and chase because it's just really easy to focus on. I'm not saying you need to play boom and chase, but I would not, just like I wouldn't be afraid to leave rotation. And I promise you, you're not afraid to leave rotation because you're afraid to play defense. That's not the issue. I just think you're getting a little too addicted to the midfield. It's almost like habitual, like constantly tracking pads, staying in the play. I would not be afraid to boom the ball, and I would not be afraid to ego challenge. And I'll show that good example. Like, I would even use this whole example as both examples, right? Instead of playing tight in the midfield, tracking pads, playing a little bit more positionally threatening. You're fast, you extend for boost, it helps with speed. We defend this, we throw the ball away. You recover, you pick up their touch, you boom the ball away. We're fast, we extend for boost, and we ego, and we miss the ball. But I would treat all of that as good, as in there's no right cadence, like do this every 5 times or something, but like mix in a little bit more of these boomy ego plays, extend for boost plays, instead of only being in the midfield like this. It's like we extend for our boost, we go to play mid, and it's like instead of playing mid, maybe you play a back post or a goal line, which then you're out of position if the ball goes mid. But what's happening is we're getting choked up in the midfield, and then we go for our ball control. It looks like mechanics are breaking down. They're not breaking down. We're just not in a good position. We're in a more difficult position to get something going. And then that is like leading into the bigger picture problem of ball control to create offense, ball control to transition. I think it's really rooted in positioning. And this is another good example, okay? You go in, you don't think about control, you attack the ball, you go in, you hit the ball, like just kind of a hit ball mindset. And like maybe you land right here, and instead of playing tight in the midfield, you extend for this or extend for this. And it's kind of like, well, extending out of rotation will open up problems, but like that's how you get better. That's how you work through them. I see this replay as a concentration replay. Like you're very, very controlled. That's definitely a playstyle build. And you're very, very aggressively positioned, properly positioned in the midfield if I was writing a Rocket League research paper. But it's actually preventing us from doing more. Like this. Like now it's bugging me now that I've kind of talked through it, and I hope you could see it. I want to keep it broad with you. I always like to do that with higher level players. I'll like talk through this, but like you're thinking, okay, second man, follow. Okay, that happens. And you see teammate there. And instead of rotating out and kind of taking a third back here, which then opens up all of this space to control the ball. If this ball goes back to you, whether it's a lost 50, teammate intentionally fakes it, they throw the ball away, whatever it may be. Now you have all of this space and boost and speed to use those mechanics. But what we do is play tight in the midfield, which on paper is good. But it's like, even if this ball, like, let's say you were facing the play, it came right to you. You can't use those creative mechanics that you love to use in this position. You need to be a little bit farther back with a little bit more speed. More of that. More booms. Nice try. I would leave it there. Part of me, what I would love, but like this is me like stretching, adding stuff to add stuff. I know there's no time in the clock, but try not to think about this very, very specifically. Instead of playing a close second man, you play a little bit of a farther away second man or a farther away third man. You either pick up their loss of ball control and you get your air dribble mechanics or whatever you want to do, freestyle mechanics, or you fake it, grab possession, and get better time on the ball. The way I see this, don't hate me, the way you position, purely positioning, is for aggressive follow-up second man play style. Everyone has ball control at the pro level, but you position for follow-up shots and follow-up 50s and big pickups and crazy speed, and that's what you position for. But your play style is ball control. So it's like your positioning is not matching up with your decision making to control the ball. I'm not saying you need to be far away from the play every single time. It's just mixing it in. And I'm not saying you need to fake every single time, but just understand that your play style, like, you need boost, you need speed, and you need space. That's how your play style thrives. And that's why, like, this is kind of like, okay, like, you want to make your play style thrive. There you go. You want to round out your play style. More egos, more booms. A little bit of both, maybe. Look at that. Look at that, right? Like, that's how you thrive. Like, that's you. And let's try to see how this play develops. Thinking about everything we've talked about. Let's see how this play develops. Because that play was you. That's your highlight, right? So we extend for boost. We're far away from the play. Okay, remember, your play style needs boost. It needs speed. It needs spacing. We're approaching a play. We're far away. We're not tight in the midfield. We're not tracking small pads. I showed those previous examples. We approach a play. We have speed. We have boost. We get our touch. We're creative. We go for pre-flip. We get little cute ballerina touches and you score. But all of it was rooted in that mid-boost extension, speed of approach, and the space to actually be mechanical. Whereas in some of these previous plays, I talked about, like, your positioning is not linking up with your play style. Like, you position aggressively to pick up 50s and follow up shots, but your play style is control. Where, like, we looked at this play and, like, you're positioning for a quick follow up touch, but as we saw with that previous play, like, you want space, you want to fake to create that space, you want to be far back to have space to control the ball. But, like, this follow up, right? Aggressive follow-up shot, 50, whatever we want to call this. This is a part of your play style. Do not get me wrong. But what I just showed, this is how you thrive. It all gets created from rotating wide, tons of space, tons of speed, boost. And then we do our thing. So that's it, man. I thought you played clean. I mean, you're a good player, dude. You're a good player. Really good player. And playstyles change, don't get me wrong, especially if you're trying out with new teams. Playstyles change. You should be willing to change. But solid. Good stuff, man. Be proud of yourself.